Greetings and salutations. This is Jason Silverrain, and I was hoping to bring you, in my next Eaten Alive update, a complete playthrough of the game. Unfortunately, that probably will not be the case now or in the future. Now, for you who have not seen Eaten Alive, it's a small game created by Space Cat Studios under the developer Back to Basics Gaming. This was released in September 2015, and it wasn't really great on its first release. It was a bit buggy, it was an obvious RPG Maker game, however it had potential. I mean, the writing was terrible, but the mechanics were respectable, even with the bugs. Initially it was permadeath, and one touch of a zombie would kill you. They implemented a function that added a little mini game in to dodge the zombie attacks, and that's actually pretty well done for a RPG Maker game. However, since then, it's all gone to hell, to put it bluntly. And now this seems like it's one of many cash grabs by the developer and by the publisher Back to Basics Gaming. Now, in the meantime, between my previous video and this one, Space Cat Studios stated they were going to have an update way back in October 2015. It is now the end of March 2016. There is still no update. An update that was supposed to take for 4 weeks has now taken more than 4 months, and it's still no arrival. There's been no information about what's causing the delay, and the I keep saying the developer. Technically, Back to Basics Gaming, the publisher, is handling all communications across the Steam network and forums. Apparently, Space Cat Studios do not want to speak to the public. Now, just for a little proof, here's the announcement way back in October where Sir Pogsalot stated that the patches were incoming. The first patch arrived, the second one never really mentioned. A few weeks. People are like, it's over a month, and he's like, they keep saying, things are proceeding, we don't want to set a date. And it's like, these things happen in game development, I'm more than happy to refund you. And he's instantly getting very aggressive. I mean, I actually posted a thread in the Steam forums, and it acted as a walkthrough for people, and also highlighted a few issues with the game. Now, that was actually the most posted in thread in the Steam forums, and of today has now been removed by Sir Pogsalot, with no validation why. And it seems that several other threads saying stuff about the game have also vanished. So he's sort of trying to delete bad reviews and various other issues that people are having with the game. But yes, in the last few months, when anyone said anything, he's either gotten very aggressive. A few times he's edited his own comments later to sound less of a douche, let's be honest. Or he's just told them to go get a refund. And I actually stated that I would probably be getting a refund in April if there was still no patch. Which, I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons he decided to delete my thread. Now, Space Cat Studios released Turbo Pug, which at first the developer Back to Basics Gaming, the publisher Back to Basics Gaming said they weren't involved in. Which, when we pointed out, in fact they were, he said, "Oh wait, no, sorry, Space Cat Studios has split their team into two. Half of them working on Turbo Pug, half of them working on Eaten Alive." But now, in December, they've got another game, Final Dwarf, where their characterizations are based on the old RPG Maker characters. And I've shown these pictures to several other people. Everyone swears they've taken pictures from either Neverwinter Nights or the Baldur's Gate series, and done sprite work over the top of them, using them as like a base. But yes, it makes you wonder, if you're having trouble with completing one game, why start a second? Or even a third? Now, Turbo Pug doesn't really need any updates. They apparently had a little prize for it, which was, some top of the line games at the time. Well, I say top of the line. It was, it was last year's next gen game, which is a strange thing to do funding on. Now, I decided to have a look at Back to Basics Gaming to see, is there something common? Is there a lot of games of theirs which just seem to be dead in the water? And I will say that I do like the font. I do like their actual logo. I actually really hate that because I want that font for my logo. Ah. Now, going through these, quite a lot of these are actually early access games that have been abandoned or games that have got very low reviews. Two major, guilty parties are New Kind of Adventure and Escape Machines. Now, during my time on the Eaten Alive, for Steam forum, I talked to a chap called Carl Pinkerton, and he also was kind of pressuring the developers, trying to find out more information on what was happening. And after chatting further, he referenced me to this review he wrote for New Kind of Adventure, and at the beginning of the month, and it pretty much sums up all the research he's done and some of the information I found from him. And I'm just going to read it out to you now. As far as I can tell, this game hasn't had a single update. Here is Back to Basics Gaming and their developers associate speaking of a major update written on June 10th, 2015. Link to the page. Achievements, I think. Cool, I was going to have some goals when I play this. A few months roll by and nothing. Naturally, people are wondering what the heck's going on. Therefore, Back to Basics Gaming had a really solid reputation for publishing early access titles that never got finished. So, Back to Basics Gaming is getting this reputation of not finishing their titles. The developer, Mint Age Studio, actually has another game in early access that was released 2 months earlier. So they were actually having another game. So they actually have another game on their plate, and they were busy with Escape Machines. Not a good idea to have two unfinished games up for sale at the same time. In my opinion, finish one and start another, I say. Which I agree with. I can understand if you've got a large team, however, that you might be able to do a major project and then have a side project going, which would be the equivalent of a mobile game or a very small basic game. As January 2016 rolls around and apparently the developer can't finish the game as promised, they're having financial issues. More links to evidence and screenshots, which is very good of Carl Pinkerton to do this, because, as I've mentioned, they're sort of deleting their previous statements now. And here's the other one. Now, I thought the reason selling a game in early access was to raise funds to finish the game. Fair point. So if you've got two games in early access and neither can be finished because of a lack of funds, what the hell are they doing on the store? It also wasn't a brilliant idea to have two games being developed at the same time without funds to finish either of them. Unless the plan is to never finish, take the money and run. Which is an increasing problem with early access, and why early access has now got the bad reputation it has. More and more people are beginning to smell something is off. Back to Basics Gaming doesn't have any answers for the customers, and eventually the developer, Mint Age Studios, admits he isn't working on either of his early access games, this and Escape Machines, that launched a month and a half before this one, because he doesn't have any money for it. Despite having two games published by Back to Basics Gaming being sold on Steam, is Back to Basics Gaming keeping all the money? Where has it gone? Both games are trading cards, and they're getting money from market transactions. Oh, sorry. Bit of frog in my throat there. The Mint Age developer is getting pretty hostile in the meantime at customers. Now this is a exercise in absolute roundabout crazy logic here. Just insane troll logic. Making a AAA game with a small budget is hard. I decided to make a small game and invest the revenue in Escape Machines production. With £20,000 in 3 years, two guys made the Flash version of Escape Machines. Next step is migrate to the Unreal Engine, and the budget is zero. I tried to make it with this budget, but this is going really slow, and I tried to make a small game, launch it, invest the revenue in Escape Machines development. I need 10 to 20 guys to test a new game. Those who want to test those who want to test, please join this Facebook group. This is a small pixel art roguelike fighter. I'm launching it March. I made the decision because Mint Age is the leading games company and will only do highest quality games. Okay, he's got delusions of grandeur, for that's for certain. After launching the small game, I'll continue Escape Machines development with new forces, and it will be so awesome. Until then, development is suspended. Thank you for understanding. There we go. That's Mint Age stating he's no longer developing his old games. He's run out of money. So someone mentioned a bit annoyed. So in other words, the game has been abandoned. Which is the point the developer's like, it's clearly written I am making a small game to get money to make escape machines. Awesome. It's like shuriken. Is it shuriken nuggets? How the heck do you pronounce that? Why do you always talk bad things about me and my game? Instead of envying other game developers, you should make your games good and be happy about them. I've seen more game developers like you pretend they can make a game like Escape Machines in 1 week, but they've never done even something 10 times smaller. It's a pity you guys waste your time. Wait, what? So anyway, the point is that many game developers talk bad things about other game developers. I do advise those game devs to concentrate on their work instead of wasting time on talking on how skeptical they are about other game devs who make much more games than they did. Oh man, I don't think English is this guy's first language. Yeah, it's other things people saying. Because your game has been in development hell for the last 9 months, can't honestly believe you've ever finished it. And no, I don't envy you. You've yet to create anything I find impressive. I'm not sure where you got this idea. So, wow. He's basically blaming I'm getting negative feedback, therefore you must be a hostile game dev. Not a hostile reviewer, a hostile game developer. And as you go down, it just gets worse and worse. And Shuriken Nuggets is just kind of pointing out, yeah, I work on my games in my time I set aside for them. I play other games, discuss them in my spare time. I'm not saying any of these things as a game developer. I'm not certainly saying them because I envy you. Seriously, I've never seen that happen anywhere. This is me as a consumer, a person playing video games and is paid to play yours. And it's like mentioning the game developer for angle again. Why do you keep bringing this up? It's completely irrelevant. My experience as a developer has no relevance to discussion. This isn't about me or the game I've made. It's about you and the game you've made or in the process of making. It's like a Mint Age Studios. Because I heard that some game devs downvote other game devs to make more money from their game. Did you make crappy games and write bad reviews about escape machines? Alright, we've heard about people purchasing positive reviews. We've heard about people maybe riling up some chaps over at 4chan or even on Reddit and going, this guy's done something. He's an awful person. Go downvote his game. You know, that's happened rarely. However, game devs downvoting other game devs, I've not heard that since the early 80s and 90s sort of thing. You know, sort of crap talking. And just it's just as you go further down, it's whenever anyone asks, goes, "This is awful." He just freaks out. So, going back to the main thing here. So back to basics gaming publishes this guy's 2 games relatively close to each other. They launch an early access for a price, and 9 months later, he has no money to finish the game, so he's starting a new game which he plans to sell and use profit to pay for his previous 2 games, which he otherwise couldn't finish. What the heck what the heck kind of business strategy is this? It smells and it smells bad. Yeah, it's again a problem with early access and other minor games that have been greenlit, sometimes through fun, sometimes through people not really. Well, I don't know. Some people greenlit a concept without checking to see if they've actually got any progress on it. And sometimes you do get sort of, oh, this looks like it already has progress to start with, so it might be a safe thing to greenlight, and then it turns out like this. Dan at Back to Basics Gaming has literally said nothing in regards to any of this as far as I know. I can't find an official comment or response to the Mint Age declaration of stopping development of both games. It was only a few months later that Back to Basics Gaming will publish a different developer's game, which shortly went from an update promised within a few weeks to 4 to 5 months. And now we're speaking about Eaten Alive. He's got a review to his. Sorry, you can read the story of that in my review for that game, which I'm gonna go open. He didn't tell me he put his review, but he's updated his review now. Cool. I'm gonna have to go read that. I think it's more of sort of the same here. He's sort of gone around and updated all of his reviews for these games apparently. During this, Back to Basics Gaming published another game called Flesh Eaters, unrelated to Eaten Alive. This has also missed its release date by at least 6 months and counting. Meanwhile, the developer has gotten 2 new games greenlit in the meantime. Both are published by Back to Basics Gaming, who is someone working on 3 games at once, especially when they can't finish the first project. Keep in mind this is a different developer than Mint Age and unrelated to Eaten Alive devs, Space Cat Studios. Back to Basics Gaming is also published more recently in tradition with almost everything early access has missed its release date by 2 months and counting. And yeah, for some reason Carl owns most of their games. I think he got some of them as gifts. He's had some of them due to essentially vouchers, special offers, and trying them out. So let's have a look. How many games you got, Space Cat? Oh, not Space Cat, sorry. Back to Basics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And at least 4 to 5 of those are incomplete. I could go check the rest, but that's not a great thing to say about your library. And some of those, like the chapter 1, will there ever be any more chapters? Who knows? Now, this has kind of turned a little personal for me. Initially, I just wanted to see if I could ever get this game finished and, you know, do the video on it, show you guys the ending, and that's probably never going to happen. I was going to just basically give up on this one, ask for a refund, and ignore it. But then today, so Pugsalot deleted my thread that was on the Steam forums, and now just by doing that, I think that he's essentially covering up the bad reviews. He's deleted, you know, the points I've made. I mean, if I was going to just walk away from this and go with saying I've put up my warning to others, I've said my piece, but now I just feel that this has to be done because you've got to hold people accountable, and if people can just delete bad reviews or, well, not so much the reviews, but you know, people's concerns, then that shows that the publisher is up to something. And there's another thing that leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, and also is somewhat ridiculous, is of all the people they could have included in Eaten Alive, there's all the people, Jim Sterling, the man who, more than anyone else I can imagine as a YouTuber, stands up and states, this is not right. This is a load of crap. If your company's doing something shifty, it will be found out. There will be evidence of it on the if you've stated stuff. The internet never forgets because there's always a cache file somewhere or screenshots of just showing what's been said, what's been done. Now, I'm hoping Jim Sterling will see this and do his own take on Eaten Alive. But for now, for all you people that have Eaten Alive, what we need to do is we need to ask for a refund because this is an incomplete game that's being sold as a complete game. Nowhere, you know, in the description does it state this is not a complete game. It's not early access, so they can't claim for that, and it failed early access. It wasn't allowed into early access. But beyond just getting a refund, we need to request for this being taken down off the Steam store now. Just if it was just Eaten Alive, then yeah, you could just let it go. But Back to Basics Gaming has a track record of releasing early access games, taking the money and running. We can get them back for this. Eaten Alive is one of the few which they've done this with and is not an early access game. I'm all for supporting indie developers, but not opportunists and not con artists. If you make a game, you make a dedication to completing that game. Or you make an apology that, sorry, we can't do this. And you give good communication with the customer that why you can't provide the service that you were going to. Now, I don't have much more to say on this. This will probably be my last Eaten Alive video. I'm going to try and put my thread back on the Steam forums. I probably will get banned from it. What the heck? That'd be a little thing to have a grin about. And for all of you out there, read the reviews, keep alert, watch out for these kind of people, and stay the hell away from Back to Basics Gaming. Really, because from all I can see, they're a bunch of scam artists trying to make a quick bit of money. Good night all.